a reference in this movie for the pandemic that happened, that's coronavirus, and the riots that happened, that's Black Lives Matter in this movie. And afterwards, due to this particular pandemic and all that, it made the market for social media rise up in the world. So that was what depicted in this movie. And there's this guy, Dillian Reid, is also a movie actor in the movie. So he was talking to one of the studio or the studio executives, producers, that he's working regardless of the pandemic. He's still working. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. It's Kwabena Jumo, the YouTuber. Now let's go. Euphoria season 3, episode 2. Now, Maddie will come to the city with no dreams, like with no hope, just a handbag, no money, just a dream. So he come and talk to this lady for a job offer, but due to his preparation for the job in one or two instances, you get the job. So afterwards, there will be uh, a reference in this movie for the pandemic that happened, that's coronavirus, and the riots that happened, that's Black Lives Matter in this movie. And afterwards, due to this particular pandemic and all that, it made the market for social media rise up in the world. So that was what depicted in this movie. And there's this guy, Dillian Reid, is also a movie actor in the movie. So he was talking to one of the studio or the studio executives, producers, that he's working regardless of the pandemic. He's still working. So that's where they say even the pandemic is in, he's still working. So the pandemic will make social media market increase. So that's where it was depicted in this movie. That's Sam Levinson depicted that show in this particular part of the movie. And this girl is obviously going on X for more or less, like, or is going on TikTok, for he want to become a TikTok star, and that's Cassie. So Cassie obviously wants to be a TikTok star, but he's still on what he's trying to do. And that's Rue Bennett is also working with Almo because he has moved away from where he was initially and now working with Almo. And this will spark, there will be this conversation between Almo and Rue Bennett will spark more or less like a fight that will proceed in the near future. They will initially call Almo a nigger, and he will vex, like he will go mad on this one, like why are they calling him that name? And the story will continue. They'll say they will take his girl, their girl, that's Rue Bennett, but they will not go in mind with them. But yes, still they have no option, because they said they took one of their ladies, that's Tish. So they will also take Rue Bennett in exchange of it, but it doesn't sit well with the woman. So you call the girl, you call Almo Brown a pig. So that was what he did, and it caused a whole lot of chaos in the movie. So, and this is one of the most cinematic, iconic scenes in the movie. When Rue was out there in the outskirts of the town burning things. That's it. It's one of the most iconic scenes in the movie. So Rue is more or less like was once an addict. So after she went to the club and he drew this particular magnet, Rue, looking at it, was once like it triggered her to go and take drugs anymore, because Rue used to do drugs, but yes, still he was able to remove his eyes from there. But after looking elsewhere, he saw this lady. That was where she also noticed this girl even was there, and he was able to take his money and left. And one thing about this scene is that everything that they do is recorded, like more or less like the Blink Twice movie. This cow animal there has a CCTV camera on its eye, so recording everything that they are doing. You know, that's where most of the Blink Twice movies go. And afterwards, this lady will say some of the things is left for the night, but yet still she will want to have fun with Rio. But when they're doing that, Rio still remember his friend, his high school friend, you know.
But I never quite felt that.
So yes, even her high school friend also remember her. So he was trying to draw him to that's
But I
this
never
girl.
quite felt like it did in high school.
He said Angel was a haircut, but Juice was Juice. So he still remember Juice, that Juice is in his mind after this long period of time. But Juice is also into high school or college. That's studying art. He's also drawing in there. That's Rue Bennett. That's how far their friendship goes. So once he was thinking about him, he too was also thinking about him. You know. But for Tish has also been worrying them. No, for Angel has also been worrying them about where Tish is, but they couldn't find any. This man is the man that offered a loan to Nate Jacobs, but Nate Jacobs is refusing to pay, so he's threatening to Nate Jacobs. So in the next season 3, after the word, in the next episode 3, after the Jacobs wedding, he will go and hire some people to come and cut off Nate Jacobs' leg, beat him brutally, and cut off his leg, like one of his toes. So that's one of the things that happened in the movie. Rue is on his way to take Angel to the rehab as proposed by Almo, because Almo said if Rue is able to take Angel to the rehab, he will increase his cost or something like that. So they are on the way to the rehab. On a normal scale, they were supposed to take his name, his details, but they didn't take anything. They just left him at the rehab and they decided to go. So he was kind of a bit of concern about why they didn't take anything from her details and all that. So after they called Almo a pig and a nigger, so Almo will come to. Almo will set a pig up to come and disturb the people from their sleep. That's the real people, and he will write on their flag that remember the Almo. So that's where mostly the fight begins, and it will continue to go up till it get bloodier. And Nate, Cassie or Real Bennett will also go and visit his friend, that's Jules, and they will meet together and have some fun. But it was kind of strange